Wednesday, November 16th, and this is Geeknights. Tonight, we talk about anime, specifically Gankutsuou and The Place Promised in Our Early Days. Let's do this.
Oh, yeah.
So, we stopped playing Mario Kart just long enough to make this podcast.
That's about right.
Yeah.
I played 3 online games today. I won all of them because I'm so great.
Yep. So, at work today, I've been struggling with this server.
I've been struggling with LDAP.
Yeah. I hate LDAP, but I hate the server more. To make
Server's
it
worse
long,
than LDAP. That's pretty bad.
convoluted, and slightly confidential story short, I built a server. I put a raid card in. The raid card died. I put another raid card in. That card died. I then learned that that motherboard somehow specifically destroys that and only that raid card. Put a different raid card in. And eventually I got everything working, and I was very happy. And then just today, a stick of RAM died, and I wanted to cry.
This computer must be cursed.
Something like that.
Can't you get, like, another computer just like it that doesn't have a curse?
Nah, because we only have 2 of these. Like, this is an old kind of server, and they don't make them anymore.
Oh.
And I don't need a powerful server. I'm not going to spend money to buy, like, a brand new blade or anything.
You spend someone else's money to buy a brand new... Why would you spend your money unless it's going in this house?
See, I do my job at work the same way I do computers here. If I have a computer laying around that'll do the job, I don't spend money on a new computer unless I have to.
I guess that's kind of okay.
That way, if I really need to spend money later, I can spend money.
It's good for the company, but, you know, sometimes you don't necessarily want what's good for the company.
I usually do. The problem is sometimes the company doesn't want what's good for the company.
Yeah.
People don't like bad medicine.
It's like bad medicine. All right.
Yeah, so, today I saw that AOL added some bots to everyone's buddy list.
Yeah, I read this story, but then, you know, I completely forgot about it until I got home, because I can't really sign into AIM at work because the network's broken, and my Jabber AIM transport doesn't even work at work. But as soon as I got home, I signed into AIM, and these 2 bots appeared. And I was like, oh my god, it happened, even on GAIM on Linux.
See, it even happens in Trillion, it's happened to Max, but the thing is, I saw all these reports, and I looked, and they weren't in my list. And then I got home, and they weren't there. So I was thinking, what, am I immune? Did it skip me? And then I realized that I hadn't logged out of AIM since a power outage a while ago. Oh. So I logged out of AIM, and I logged back in, and they appeared. I said some obscenities to them for a while, and then I deleted them.
Obscenities. See, I wouldn't really mind the bots if they didn't force them on you. I think the reason they forced them on you, really, is to just inform you of the new feature that they gave you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if they just had a thing where you could add bots if you wanted, and some of them were useful and they didn't send you advertising, that's always cool.
Yeah, and that's what they have now, kind of. Basically, there's always been this API for having bots in AIM.
Oh, always.
But now they legitimized it, and it's an official thing, and they're going to start putting out more and more official bots.
Yeah, well, Jabber has always been the king of bots, and now that Jabber is kind of moving with the Google talk, I think they want to, you know, kind of head it off at the pass.
Yeah. The only thing I don't get is, I didn't like the bots appearing, but it wasn't a crushing blow against my computer sovereignty.
No, not really.
But the sheer poison and vehemence that I heard on Slashdot and Fark of people screaming, how could they do this? Those bastards, blah, blah, blah. I mean, AOL AIM is kind of free, so you really can't... I mean, you can complain, but you can't expect them to listen to you.
Yeah, actually, AOL's kind of turning around. I mean, they used to be all dastardly and whatnot, but, you know... They redid the AIM client, and they added all the good stuff, but they piled up on the ads like crazy, you know? But they're letting all the GAIMs and Trillions slide.
There are ads in the AIM client?
Crazy ads.
I seriously have not used the official AOL client in like 7 years.
I haven't used the official AIM client in longer than that. Except for, I think I used the Everybody once.
See, I never even used AIM until I got to college, and all of you bastards used AIM, and I had to stop using ICQ.
I like having a name and not a number.
I liked having a number. That way I could have whatever name I wanted. Now I'm Shazar 105.
It's not my fault you weren't cool enough to get Shazar first. Or cool enough to have a unique name.
You know what? It's great, because in Jabber, I've got Rim.
Yeah, Jabber is king. Everyone should use Jabber. You know what? If you use Jabber, You won't have people randomly adding bots to your buddy list.
Yeah, unless the server admin decides to add bots to your buddy list, but...
And then when the server admin is me and I don't know how to do that, you have no worries. So, I got a little iPod Nano, right?
Yeah, you didn't break this one.
No, not yet. And I was, the other day there was the Doom for the iPod Nano, right?
The one that you couldn't get to work?
The one that I couldn't get to work, but only because I was dumb. And I'm not going to try it again because I really don't have a need for it. It was just, I was trying to be cool. But, when the Doom came out for the Nano, I was like, yeah, it has a color screen. Why can't it play video? There's no reason it can't. And in fact, there isn't a reason it can't. And today, they released a video player for iPod Linux, and you can watch video on your iPod Nano.
Fantastic.
The reasons that Apple probably didn't put it out right away were because A, the battery life, B, not so much hard drive space.
No.
C, the screen isn't really conducive for video viewing.
No.
So if they would have released it as, marketed as this plays video and given it a video feature, that would have been piss poor. That would have looked pretty piss poor. So I can see why they didn't do it. But at least these Linux guys got it under control, so if you really want to, you're good to go.
I don't think I will be anytime soon, but it's cool.
Me either. But actually, I got the new digital camera. I got some pictures on the Nano. It's actually pretty good for showing people pictures.
Ah.
You'd think it would be kind of crummy. No, it's actually pretty hot.
So, Darwinia, that game made
game
by the same people who made Uplink back in the day.
Those guys are great.
Yep. Is going to be released exclusively through Steam.
Well, at least for Windows.
Yeah. You can still just buy the Linux one, but if you want the Windows one, you got to get it through Steam.
That's definitely cool, because these guys aren't a big-time developer, and they make original games, and their games are awesome. Really awesome.
Uplink was fantastic.
It was crazy good, and I played Darwinia, and while Darwinia wasn't crazy good, it was better than 90% of PC games out there, and it was very, very original. So I think the Steam deal is good for them because it gets them a lot more exposure than they would have gotten, say, on the shelf in the game store. And it's a lot cheaper for them because they don't have to make a box. They don't have to make a CD. I think it was a very good move on their part.
Yeah. I mean, I have no gripes against Steam except for the fact that I can't use it in Linux.
Yeah, that's pretty much my only problem with Steam. The people who have other problems with Steam is because they're, technologically incompetent or they believe something about Steam that's not true, which is a lot of people. It's kind of scary.
Though, if you've never played Uplink, I highly recommend you find it and play it.
Yeah, it's for Linux and Windows and maybe even Mac. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, in movies how whenever there's a hacker, unless it's The Matrix where they SSH into something.
Oh, yeah.
And you see, the graphics flying by and someone, breaks into a bank and then they're looking through, pictures of people and movie hacking. That's what that game is. You hack the way they hack in the movies.
And it feels like, the way the game is done, it feels like you're hacking against other guys that are really out there. And you can really get into computers and do stuff. It's like, if there's a computer in the game, you can get into it.
It's real free form. There's one mission where someone tells you to, do something to a bank. So you do something to the bank, but while I was in the bank, I noticed that I could just take a bunch of money out of the bank and put it in another account. So I did. And then a while later, that screwed me and the police came and got me.
Yep.
Mostly because I didn't cover my tracks so well.
Yeah, it gets pretty difficult. There's a lot of fast clicking, which is my only problem with the game. And there's a kind of a learning curve, but other than that, it's very excellent and it gives you this great feeling like you're in danger all the time. I like it. Darwinia is more of a, you use mouse gestures to control these little guys to go around a map destroying monsters, kind of like Pikmin, but you control it with mouse gestures.
Yeah.
That's the closest I can come to describing.
It's really neat looking. It's very 3D vectory graphics.
Yeah, it's very simple too. It's like they're just little green sticky guys, but they're 3D. And you have cool powers like lightnings, and at least that's what I remember. It's been a while since I played it. I played the demo.
It reminds me a little bit of a good version of that old game Populous.
Kind of. It's more like Pikmin than Populous, but yeah, kind of.
It's got aspects of both.
Definitely a good game. People
it's
should
no
check
mule.
it out. Yep, not a mule. So, there was news about the Nintendo Revolution today that was actually very specific.
Oh, really?
Yep, it's going to have something called Play Control.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Basically, it's a parental lockout system.
See, I'm very much against censorship, but I'm fine with things like this because you're allowed to. I say you should be allowed to censor yourself as much as you want.
Yeah, I think this kind of thing is actually really good because A, it doesn't keep me from playing any games. B, you can shut people like Jack Thompson up because, now a parent can do if they buy their kid a Revolution, they could just set it to like play don't play any games that are more than mildly violent, and don't play games with any sex or bad words in them.
Yep.
And then, even if the kid borrows a game from a friend or rents one from Blockbuster, the parent doesn't even have to pay attention to the ESRB ratings anymore. It's just done.
And this is Nintendo. There's no way anyone will be able to claim that it's too difficult. There's going to be a big green button that takes care of everything.
Absolutely. It's probably that big A button on the easy-to-use remote control that even a parent can figure out how to use, not a game controller. So that just doubles it right there. And hopefully now this will also get companies to make, some more, mature games for the Revolution. Because
wait, do you mean mature as in a good game, or mature as in, oh look, there's lots of blood and gore and adult themes?
Well,
and
no.
boobs.
It's the fact that there are a lot of games that people make now where, sometimes people make a game like VMX XXX where it's mature just for the sake of being mature to get people to buy it. And there are other games that are actually good games, but they either give the mature content to add to the selling power because the publisher makes them, or they add it's mature because the game is mature. It's like Solid Snake has violence. Counter-Strike has violence. That's how the game is. And people, I think, were refraining from releasing these games for the GameCube because they had kind of these bad impressions or something. And I hope a system like this, helps bring those games around, because what can happen is, someone like Jack Thompson might, put pressure on these companies when they release games for the Xbox 360 or the PS3. But if they release them for the Revolution, they won't get pressure because this system is in place.
Yeah.
So it might make them feel better about making Revolution games.
It's just one more plus for the Revolution.
Yep.
I mean, the more...
Not that it needs any more pluses.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much it looks to me, honestly, I don't think the PlayStation 3 is going to be much of a contender this time around.
Nope. Except in Japan.
Yeah. But in Japan,
people...
the Xbox isn't selling at all, so, yeah.
Yep. Pretty much, I got the same philosophy at the Revolution that I did for the DS, and that was, I don't know 100% everything about it yet.
Worst case scenario, it's a Virtual Boy?
Worst case scenario, it's a Virtual Boy. And you know what? With the DS, it was the best case scenario. It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it was awesome, and Mario Kart sealed the deal, and now it's my primary gaming system.
The deal was sealed before Mario Kart. This is like a golden frosting.
Bonus stage!
Oh, yeah.
So, my thing of the day.
Thing of the day?
Yeah.
All right.
I assume everyone out there has seen Lupin III, The Castle of Cagliostro.
That's a great freaking anime.
If you haven't, go see it. It's probably the best Lupin movie. And if you don't know who Lupin is, go see that movie.
It's one of the best Lupin movies. There are many great Lupin movies, and they are difficult to compare.
It's my favorite, though I really like the Fuma Conspiracy.
Everyone loves that one, too.
Yeah. The only one that I really don't like is Babylon Gold, but I still like it for its MST3K value.
It definitely has a high MST3K value, with the motorcycles on clown faces.
But Japan's Princess Sayoko got married, and her wedding dress was based exactly on the movie that the female protagonist wore at the end of Castle of Cagliostro, because she is a huge Miyazaki fan.
That's pretty awesome. It's kind of like that guy who's going to cosplay as Char from Gundam and go into space.
Oh, yeah.
You know what this tells you is that the people who grew up with anime in Japan are now getting old.
There's going to be a time at which people who played Mario Brothers are going to run for president.
Hallelujah.
But it might be the kids who died on the first Goomba and gave up.
Yeah. I got one question about this, though. It says that when she married a commoner, she's no longer princess, right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering, who is there that's appropriate to marry that's not a commoner and that's not in her family? Is it incest, or what's the deal?
You realize that every European nation back in the day also had to deal with this. And
they had incest.
You can marry other royal families. Like if a princess from Japan, I don't know if Japan works this way, but like if a princess from France married a princess from a prince, it's not Utena. from say England or Germany.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
But notice
but,
how there aren't so many lines of royal blood, and notice how a lot of lines of royal blood have issues.
Yeah, I noticed because there was mad incest. But apparently, like, all her sisters have married people who are royal. So I'm wondering, is there incest still going on, or is there something I don't know?
At least in Europe, yeah, there's still incest going on among what few noble families are left.
Still? They're still incesting to this day?
It's not direct incest. It's usually like second cousins.
Oh, that's not so bad, but...
Well, actually, in fact, I saw an article on FARC, it was last year, where they proved that first cousins and further... there is pretty much zero risk, and it really doesn't do anything bad unless you repeat it for dozens of generations.
All right.
So if you're into the incest, go nuts.
It's still not something I support, but yeah.
No.
But I'm just wondering specifically for the Japanese.
Wait, what do you mean support? How could who would you be? What, an incest advocate standing on the street like incest? Try it out.
Well, no, but I'm not going to go around saying, look. Just the biology does say that doing your cousin doesn't hurt, but I'm not going to go around the street saying, everyone do your cousin if you really wanted to when you were just holding out because it was incest.
I'm of the mind that other people can do whatever they want as long as it doesn't hurt me or anyone else.
Yeah, they can, but I don't want them to find out they can.
So, you got a thing?
I definitely got a thing. So, this guy calling himself, what did he call himself? Ray DiGirati. That's, I guess, his screen name. He's 34 years old. And his occupation? IT gigolo. Basically what he did is he gave some tech support to this girl he knew, right? And he was looking at her while he was doing the tech support, and he said, damn, she's hot. It would be really nice if I could get paid in sex instead of money for fixing her computer.
That would work?
Well, I don't think he did it with her. But that was the thought that he had in his mind, was that, it would be great to be paid in sex instead of paid in money for computer work. So he put a thing on Craigslist that said, I'll fix your computer for a sexual favor.
That's fantastic, but isn't it illegal in most states?
I guess it is. That's probably why his eyes are cut out and nose are not in this picture.
Uh-huh.
But he's doing it, and girls are liking it. There's one story, it actually says right here that he went to some girl's house to fix her computer, and she didn't even wait for him to fix it. She just started, giving him head.
Well, good game for him.
It's pretty scary, though.
I'm really not sure what to say to that.
Yeah.
I mean...
you have all these nerdy guys who can't get any, and it was so easy this whole time.
Well, I got to say, it's not really related. It's kind of related, but not in the... all right, so way back, I stayed with my girlfriend in the city for a while, and one of her roommates in the dorms had a bunch of horrible computer problems. So I sat down and fixed it. And the adulations that I received for the next 2 days were immeasurable. To the point that she even snuck a little thank you card with some money in it into my bag after thanking me 1,000 times previously. So having mad computer skills can make you popular.
I think it's just the problem is a lot of these nerds hiding their basements don't exhibit their computer skills, and they can't talk to a woman long enough to know to get her to let him into their house to fix the computer. And I guess this guy seems like an intelligent, normal guy, so that you can talk to. So it says here that his fee is an orgasm every 2 hours is pretty fair. I couldn't let that go unsaid.
I'm glad that IBM does not pay me in orgasms.
Yeah, because then I couldn't eat.
Yeah, and also I wonder how I would receive them and from whom.
Good question.
Yeah. So to move on to our main bit, which still does not have bumper music.
Bump-a-bump, bump-a-bump, anime, bump-a-bump.
Yep. After having watched the 3rd episode of Mushishi,
Mushishi,
it is definitely the best show currently on that we have access to.
Definitely the best show on that is new.
So if you need a show to watch right now, watch Mushishi. It's actually really good.
Yeah. The 3rd episode I didn't like as much as the 1st and 2nd.
Nah.
And I can kind of see this continuing trend from the 2nd episode. It's very similar. But it's still very good. Much better than any other show.
Yep. And while there's a trend, every episode is very different.
It's very different.
So I have a feeling that we'll see many interesting little mushi.
I'm just the one thing that's lacking from the show right now is this large, overbearing plot from episode to episode.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that'll come. I think it has to do with that river thing.
Though I point out that Cowboy Bebop had no plot the first time it was aired.
Well, it did.
In
It had it in certain
No,
episodes.
the first time it was aired, they didn't show any of those plot episodes.
Oh, well, but
because they
made
thought they
them.
were too violent. Even in Japan, they only showed the episodic ones.
Yeah, but they made the episodes.
Yeah.
But they put the plot in separate episodes instead of having it bear out through all. But even in Cowboy Bebop, there's a little tinge of plot here and there, you know?
I think there will be. They keep alluding to all the things that the main character has done in the past.
Yeah, I think what you're learning about Mushi, and then eventually there's going to be a big Mushi conflict, and that'll be the plot.
Maybe. Or maybe we'll get to the point where we know about Mushi, and we'll be like, we'll figure out what the guy should do before the guy figures out what to do.
That'd be pretty cool. Maybe this would be a good video game, like Solve the Mushi.
I wonder if it is a video game.
Could be. Maybe we'll check.
That bears looking into.
Yeah.
So, Gankutsuou is finally being released on DVD. One DVD is out. I think the second one's coming soon.
It was the only good anime of last season.
Yeah. Gankutsuou is based on Alexander Dumas's The Count of Monte Cristo.
Alexandre Dumas?
Yeah.
Dumas.
Now, I won't really recommend the book because it's long.
Very long.
But if you like that sort of thing, The Count of Monte Cristo is one of my favorite books. It's absolutely amazing. And my only recommendation that if you decide to read it, read the Penguin Classics translation. It is by far the best translation of that book, in my opinion.
The best translation from the French is in the Penguin.
See, the only warning really is that Alexander Dumas wrote by the line. They paid him per line that he wrote.
Man, if people got paid that way today, software would be so crappy.
See, it worked out, though, because he was very verbose. So, as a result, it's weird. You know how most books, the action speeds up or slows down or skips bits? This book skips nothing, and the pace never changes. No matter what's going on, everything is always described in the same exacting detail.
Mm-hmm.
And
At
the
least,
show...
is it crazy detail, like too much? Or
It's not too much. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
There's a lot of books you read where they just keep detailing something, and
You know
you're like,
what?
all right, what happens?
It's not Hawthorne.
Okay.
The action move. Here's the thing: the action moves at a very swift pace. The only reason it's long is because it covers like 40 years
At the same pace.
Pretty much, it skips a little bit at one point.
All right, well that's still good.
Now the show is interesting because it doesn't the book is chronological. The show picks up about a quarter of the way through the book, and you don't know what's going on, and then it reveals things through flashbacks and characters telling stories.
Well, I think the anime takes a lot of liberties in order to add more drama and suspense, especially if you haven't read the book, and to also emphasize the sort of anime things. They kind of drew out anything that could be remotely anime, and they pulled it way up. Yeah. They pulled up Beppo a whole lot. They pulled up, robots a whole lot and fighting.
Yeah.
They pulled up vampire stuff a whole lot. That was only very small in the book.
Yeah, but part of it is that the book was very verbose, and it seems like the show is very, very exactingly faithful to the mood and the feeling of the book. But it takes a lot of liberties into the actual events.
It's also very arty.
Yes, it's very pretty. It's.
Well, I mean, you can't really expect anything different from Gonzo.
I know.
They just let it all hang out.
I mean, I'd say it's even prettier than the Utena movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely. With its fancy CG action. I'm sure, though, if Ikuhara had the same equipment that Gonzo has now, the Utena movie would have been looking more like that.
Yeah.
Maybe not as dark. Color dark. Dark is in mood, who knows.
The one interesting thing, because I haven't seen the whole show, but I've seen a lot of it, and I read the whole book multiple times. And in the book, I was rooting for the Count pretty much the whole time. I was on the Count's side, because in the book, you see what happened to him to make him the way he is today. You see what all those people did to him and why he's getting his revenge. Mm-hmm. So you're with him the whole way. And every time he wins, you're like, yes, go Count! Yeah. But in the show, you see this Count, and you're afraid of him, and you just see him hurting people, and you don't know why, and you don't like him.
Yeah. I mean, I watched a lot more of the show, not all of it, though. And at the beginning, I was just cautious. I was like, that counts up to something. And then you saw him doing bad things. So like, all right, he's a bad guy.
Yep.
And you know they did something to him, but they as far as I watched, they weren't 100% clear on what it was.
I'll put it this way.
And then eventually you were just like, all right, this count's a bad guy. But
once you see what they did to him, you'll be with him 100%, and they all deserve what they get.
I think it has to do with the vampire-ness. Whenever they try to imply that someone's an evil vampire, then you're not on their side so much anymore.
Interestingly enough, the whole vampire angle, while it is not referred to as such, is very faithful to the book.
Yeah.
I can't really elaborate without ruining large swatches of a long book.
The Count, he wants to bite on it.
One, batty, 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 batty. Two, batty, 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 batty.
All right. But the dub, we just watched it for like 5 minutes.
It's blisteringly average.
Definitely. It's like the same voice actors and the same everything as every other freaking anime.
It's not terrible. It's not good. It's not worth watching in the dub.
No. I mean...
They got a good voice for the Count, though it sounds like they did a lot of DSP to make his voice sound deeper and more menacing.
Well, at least they knew to make it deeper and more menacing.
Yeah. And I got to admit, while I don't like the voice actor who does Albert, it fits just because Albert in The Count of Monte Cristo is the most naive character ever to grace anime ever.
That's definitely well translated in the show. He is so... Oh my god, like, they should just call him, the Count de Naivety.
So picture this. You're like sitting in a room with all your friends, and then the lights go out, and there's a flash of lightning, and then this evil blue-looking Count with like blue skin, and he's wearing all black, and he's carrying all these implements of various destruction, and he walks in, and he has a deep evil voice, and he looks evil, and he's glaring around, and his reflection doesn't show up in the mirror. And all your friends are like, whoa, that's a bad dude, stay away from him. And you look at him, you're like, hey, this guy's awesome. Don't rag on that guy. Let's be friends. Come to my house. You're welcome anywhere.
Yeah. When that guy comes into the house to steal all your stuff, and he says, I'm stealing all your stuff, and he points a gun at you, just hang out, play some cards, eat some food, make yourself at home. Yeah, take my TV. So on, what was it, Saturday, Sunday? We watched Place Promised, finally.
The Place Promised in our early days, done by the same guy who did Hoshino Koi, or Voices from a Distant Star.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
It was fantastic, and I got to admit, I can't... it's hard to talk about it without ruining it, because the plot goes in the direction that you did not expect.
We could talk about it in a meta fashion.
We can. The show starts, and it starts in, like, the present time, and then it goes to a flashback. And you're sure that something tragic happened to make the present time in the show exist. But then you're in this flashback and you're just waiting for it. You see all these happy kids together, and you're just waiting for something horrible to happen.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like in a tragedy like Romeo and Juliet, okay, it's tragic and you know what the tragedy is. It's just when and such. But this one is not only when, but you have no idea what the tragedy is. You're just constantly anticipating tragedy.
In fact, there's one scene...
Things keep happening that might end up tragically.
There's one scene where they're hanging over your head, and something happens, and someone's in danger, and you're, oh my god, that's what happened? Oh! And then it doesn't happen. You're like, oh.
That wasn't the tragedy.
Bastards.
It was a fake out on the tragedy.
This movie fakes out a lot.
Yeah. But it's definitely, the style is just... It's so, if you've seen Hoshino Koi, it's like, oh, it's obviously so similar. I mean, scenes on empty trains with light shining through.
Yep.
People sitting around in quietness with big landscapes. And
it's very atmospheric.
It's exactly the same way that Hoshino Koi was. Like, just dead. You didn't change his style at all.
Though, in terms of, I think in terms of telling a story and the way it was put together, I think he's come very far.
I like the story of Hoshino Koi more, but this one is more well-developed, and because it's a whole movie where Hoshino Koi was a little tiny UAV.
True.
So, but I like the Hoshino Koi story because it's, space with a robot and such. But this one was this one was also very, very cool with the tower. Oh, yeah.
And I gotta say, once again, not to spoil anything, but there is a scene... And it was probably the saddest scene I've ever seen, wherein no one died and nothing bad happened, yet I was still sad.
Yeah, it makes you sad the whole time. That's just how this guy works.
Yeah.
I wonder if the guy who makes it is like a depressed guy, or if he just really likes depressing things.
So I gotta say, I was very pleased with it, because while a lot of people in this movie are depressed, they're depressed for good reasons. They're not just angsty. They have a really damn good reason to be depressed.
Yeah, that's always good. Not
like some people we know.
Yeah, some people. But But if you haven't seen Hoshino Koi or Place Promise, see them both.
Yes.
They're on DVD and they're awesome.
Like, really awesome. Especially considering the story of this guy. He pretty much made Hoshino Koi in his basement, in his spare time.
Yep. I mean, it was pretty rough, and him and his wife did the voice acting because it only has 2 characters.
And then a studio. What studio was it? Do you remember?
I don't know, but they helped him out, and then he made it really professional with real voice actors, and they did all the animation again with computers.
Like, they picked him up, and they redid everything, and they showed, like, they helped him do it the right way, and it was amazingly popular.
It's like if you did a really bad song, but you recorded it with, like, a tiny tape recorder, but they noticed your talent, and they just realized you were poor and you couldn't do any better, and then they brought you to a studio and gave you brand new instruments and a whole band and backup singers, and then you did it for real. That's what this is like.
Yeah. So I'm actually really looking forward to see what this guy does next.
Oh, I don't know if he's doing anything next, but I'm looking out every day.
I have a feeling that he's the kind of person who won't do something unless he thinks it's going to be good.
Yeah, the question is how much money did Place Promise make versus how much it cost to produce.
I don't think it cost that much to produce.
I don't think it cost that much either because it doesn't have a whole lot of characters, and a lot of the animation is made on computers pretty cheaply, and it's pretty much made by one guy. I gotta look at the credits again.
Yeah.
Not to see. I wish I knew the guy's name.
Yeah, I forget, and I don't have it handy right now.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be a link on the page.
But meanwhile, all right, we don't even know what the next Place Promise movie is going to be, or the next thing from this guy is going to be. But the Full Metal Alchemist movie is out. It has been out, and we still haven't seen it.
I saw the end of that show last year.
It was the last super amazing show that everyone liked, and everyone was desperate to see the next episode.
And unlike most anime like this, the movie isn't a stupid recap movie or a recap with a little bit of new footage. It's just the plot continues.
Yeah, no stupid summary movies here. It's just a whole new thing with the same characters, and everyone wants to see the movie, and it's been in theaters. It's good. I think it's on DVD now, and we still can't download it. We still can't buy it. What gives?
Yeah, some fan subbers, do your illegal business and give us our medicine.
Or, hey, company, do your legal business and freaking just put the thing out.
Yeah, I want to see it in the theater. And because it's been so long anyway, and my flame to see it has died out a little bit, I think I could hold out until they actually show it in the theater. Because I've seen, like, every major anime movie in the theater lately since we live next to New York City.
Yeah. You know what? I actually wouldn't mind watching the show again. I should probably buy all the DVDs when they're in one box.
Oh, yeah. If you buy that, I'll buy Gankutsuou.
Awesome. I think you were going to buy Gankutsuou anyway.
I am. You were going to buy FMA anyway.
Yeah, so if anyone knows what the story with the FMA movie is and why no one's been able to see it.
Yeah, and if anyone gets us the movie somehow, we'll treat you somehow.
Yeah. I mean, I heard that the Japanese DVD is going to have English subtitles, but wouldn't there be a Chinese bootleg today?
If it actually has English subtitles, we could just buy it.
Yeah, we could just buy it from Japan. I don't see why not.
Of course, our DVD player isn't region-free anymore.
Oh, well, my computer is.
Yeah, my computer kinda is. My DVD-ROM is so old it can't play dual-layer discs.
Awesome.
So, since we ran out of anime and manga to talk about, it's the Metabits.
Metabits.
And we still need bumper music for all of our internal bits.
Yeah, I emailed Makanai Supremacy today.
Yeah.
And in all their awesomeness, they said, yeah, sure, you can use our music for whatever as long as you give us credit and don't profit.
Badass.
So I don't know if their music really fits with our podcast.
Yeah, I love Makanai Supremacy, but I don't want to be a show that takes just their favorite band and uses it as their music.
Yeah, but if it doesn't really fit with the music we have now, but we could just use all their music and then our show would kind of change feeling, which I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I kind of like the feeling as it is. I want to find some like old, licensed, royalty-free big band music.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of feeling other people have, though.
Yeah.
I know what kind of feeling I have. I don't know what feeling other people have.
Well, to get the one bit of feedback I ever got about the music from a cute friend of ours, and the quote was, "Your opener is pure sex."
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So we're 1 for 1. We're batting 1,000 here.
DJ Pretzel still hasn't emailed us back, though.
No, so DJ Pretzel, if you're listening, thanks.
I don't think he's listening.
Nah, I've emailed him twice, and I give him credit every day in the closing bit, so.
Yeah. I'm sure he won't mind. I mean,
nah.
I've heard radio shows using OC remixes. I don't know if they got permission, and I've heard there's an OC Remix podcast.
Yeah.
And his songs are freely downloadable on the internet anyway,
Well,
so
plus,
it's not like...
I looked at his website, and he seems like a cool dude.
He's a very cool dude. There's no question about it. Yeah.
I've been looking through his music to look for other music I could use for other bumpers.
Yeah. I don't know. Also, we're still having trouble figuring out what to do with Monday.
Yeah. Because once again, it's hard to talk about gadgets because then it's just an informative, hey, this gadget exists, hey, this gadget exists. And you know what? Engadget exists, and you don't need us for that.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about the merits of different things, like, Google came out with this new program, and then we could talk about the program. But there's a little bit of opinion, like, I think it'll be useful, I think it won't be useful, I think it'll have this effect. It doesn't last very long at all.
Nah.
And the answers are obvious and uninteresting, unless we go all, stupid.
And we wanted to talk about sci-fi, but we've all already read the sci-fi classics, and there's not much news on that front.
Yeah, I mean, I try to say I'm a well-rounded geek and I like all the geekeries, but sci-fi really not so much as the others.
See, me, I like it. I'm currently reading through a lot of the old classics I've missed.
That I've already read.
Yeah, like I just picked up The Difference Engine.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty badass.
It is pretty badass. So if anyone, knows what they want to hear on Monday, we're still experimenting, we're still willing to change our format. We'll change Monday to a different type of day. I mean,
yeah.
we could make it like role-playing gamer type day.
But do you really want to hear us talk about our characters?
Or, if we played more board games, we could do, like, session report type things.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's already board game podcasts that are better than ours.
Like, that's the reason we don't play geeky or 8-bit music and talk about it, because there's a million shows about music, and you guys don't need another one.
Yeah, and there's already weekly shows that talk about all the big tech news with guys who are, much bigger than we are. So...
Well, not physically.
No, not physically. In popularity and radio skills.
Unless they got some Paul Bunyanism.
Paul Bunyanism?
Dr. McNinja is funny. Read it.
Yep. It's very rare that I find a new comic online.
It's the last new comic I added since, like a year ago when I discovered Scary Go Round.
Nah, it's the first new comic I've added in, like, forever. I can't even remember.
Yep.
I think the one before that was Order of the Stick.
Oots.
Which didn't update yet today, at least as far as I saw. I'll have to go check again.
Yeah.
At least Penny Arcade is updating more reliably now with their new website.
Yeah, I really wanted to go to their Child's Play charity dinner, but it's on the West Coast.
They seem to really neglect the East Coast, even though they know that most of their readers are on the East Coast.
Send some love out here.
I know, and seriously, like, you have an event on the West Coast, like, 2 or 3 times, eventually people kind of, like, get slightly less excited about it. If you put it on the East Coast, it'll renew the vigor.
Don't think that the Baltimore Comic Con was a representation of the East Coast interest in Penny Arcade.
Yeah, I mean, they went to the Baltimore Comic Con, and it was in Baltimore, which is one reason people didn't go. The second reason people didn't go is that it was a Comic Con, which isn't huge on Penny Arcade fans. I mean, sure, you're a comic, and you think of yourself as fitting in with the comics crew, but really... The video game people and the anime people are what it's all about.
Yep.
Those are the people who love your comic the most, that are the crazy fans.
Of course, since you're obviously listening to Geeknights, and you'll respond to this.
Yeah, because if they were listening to Geeknights, we would totally be hosed tomorrow when we got wanged.
You know what? It'd be like when we were at Otakon, and an entertainment system, this little NES-type band, played a little concert. And me and a friend of ours named Conrad and a bunch of our friends were doing crazy dances. Like, they played a slow song. I held up my freaking DS with the screen on.
Which is something you learned from reading what Tycho said about the concert at PAX.
Yeah, but no one saw that here in the East Coast.
Well, weren't we just talking about how Penny Arcade is mad popular in the East Coast and they should come here?
Something like that.
Great
and
contradictions.
Then we did like Tetris dance. We did a bunch of cool dances. So whatever.
Tetris dances we also stole from the internet.
Yeah, but then later... we were going to watch a movie at the con, and we ran into the lead singer of the band. And he runs over, and he's like, "You two guys! You're those cool guys from the crowd!" And we looked, and we're like, "Holy crap! You're that cool guy from the band!" And it was 2 groups of people who each thought that the other group of people was really cool. And that was a weird interaction that I never experienced before. I've never been a fan of someone who was a fan of me.
It's really hard. I mean, usually, we know we're a group of cool people, and we kind of do cool stuff, but we usually find other groups, but it's usually like a person or maybe a couple. We never find a whole other group that is totally cool. You might find a whole other group with a cool guy in it. You never find another cool, totally 100% cool other group. They're super rare.
It's tough.
But we know that Penny Arcade has one, and we want them to bring it this way.
Yep, because we need more cool groups out here on the East Coast.
Eventually we can get all the cool groups and make the order of the cool groups.
Yeah.
Cool group coalition.
We could turn it into some sort of Skinner colony.
The front row crew. The front row crew.
You know what? The more I think, we should just turn Monday into general geekery and stories.
But Thursday is whatever we
want.
No,
Thursday is free-for-all. So Monday is general geekery, and then Thursdays are like interview days.
So then on Thursday, are we going to make it so we can't talk about geekery on Thursday? It has to be all non-geekery?
Not non-geekery, but like one thing. Like Monday is a potpourri, and Thursday is like... Actually, I lined up some interviews. As soon as we can get around to going to where these people are, we got a bunch of interviews we can do.
Maybe I can try to set up that evil Skype to do an interview.
Yeah, though a lot of the people we can interview now actually live places we can go.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not mentioning any of their names yet because we don't know when we're going to actually get around to this, but I got some cool people lined up.
Yeah, I think we need to work on our interviewing skills. It never really... You ever interviewed someone for a radio show?
I've interviewed a lot of people. I wrote for the school newspaper all through middle school and high school, and we did not a radio show, but like the morning announcements talk show in school, in high school. So I've interviewed a lot of people, actually.
Yeah.
I also took classes on how to interview people at RIT. Since while I'm an IT geek and I got my degree in IT, I had a lot of free time at RIT. I took every class in the professional technical communications major.
Yeah. I know how to interview someone, like, if I want to hire them or not, or to find out about them, but I don't know how to interview them, like, to make them say and do entertaining things.
See, it depends on who we're interviewing. Like, if we interview James Randi or someone, like someone informative or someone we wanted to learn about, it would definitely be a question and answer. We would like to know this, and he tells us about this. We ask them for what they want us to tell us, things like that. An informative interview. But if we interview, like, some cool gamer dude who we happen to know, or it's like someone who writes a cool webcomic, and everyone already knows the details about him, then we'll just try to be funny and hang out and talk about whatever.
Try to get them to say funny things like their webcomic has.
Yeah. Which is hit or miss. Some webcomic artists are exactly like you'd think they are, and some are the exact opposite of like you'd think they are.
Well, that's generally how it is.
Yeah, some things are like some things, and some things are like other things. How insightful.
Da-da-da.
And that was Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music.
Thanks for listening. Please remember to point your favorite podcatcher at feeds.feedburner.com/geeknights to get the latest episodes as soon as they're released. Also, please visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com for the latest updates and forum discussion. And whether you love or hate our podcast, we won't know unless you send your feedback to us at geeknights@gmail.com.